There are over 8.7 million species on our fragile planet Earth. This series will take you through the planet's last wildernesses and show you the planet and its wildlife as you have never seen them before.
Bryozoa, a 6,000 species strong animal phylum, live inconspicuously and without acknowledgement for most of the world. Being among the smallest animals on Earth, as small as 1 millimeter, Bryozoa survive the great oceans and turbulent freshwater bodies of the planet. However, they prefer quieter water sources and tend to settle on harder substrates such as rocks, branches, and algae to better their chances of survival. These microscopic animals band together in box-shaped compartments in colonies about 3 feet wide and 4 inches tall to survive their environments, find food more easily, and work as a community to survive.
Commonly referred to as moss animals or ectoprocs, Bryozoa are protected by an external skeleton ranging from thin and cuticular to thick and calcified. Here you see a bryozoan using their tentacles, called lophophores, an outer sleeve-like structure called a cystid, and a mass of organs called a polypid that moves within it. The cystid allows the polypid to slide out to the water, exposing the lophophore, which is crowned with tentacles which filter the food. The tentacles are pulled down into the coelom by paired retractor muscles. Their mucus-coated tentacles trap diatoms, phytoplankton, bacteria, and other microscopic organisms, which are swept to the mouth via cilia, which are tiny hairs that line the tentacles. With this, the bryozoa are able to feed themselves and survive another day.
Bryozoa have a long and fascinating history in the fossil record. They are the only animal phyla with an extensive fossil record that did not appear in the Cambrian or late Precambrian periods, appearing instead in the Ordovician period, about 485 million years ago. An article by Paul D. Taylor and Andrea Wessenbach, published in spring 2015 in the journal Paleontology, discusses this interesting difference and more, also noting that it is unclear how bryozoa have evolved. This is because placing them on the tree of life has proved to be quite difficult, earning them a place with what Jenner and Littlewood and Giribet et al. Called the phylogenetic renegades.
Additionally, many attempts to classify bryozoa have depended on contaminated DNA, making it difficult for scientists to be sure of the accuracy of their research to date. From an anatomical perspective, bryozoa can be classified with brachiopods and phronids, given that they share a similar body plan and they exhibit the presence of lophophores. However, scientists are concerned that these shared traits may simply be morphological, without any shared evolutionary history.
Published tree differs from the lab-generated tree in a few key ways. First, they used different organisms when they were placing the bryozoa in the evolutionary table. The positioning of Annelida and Mollusca on the tree was quite similar, but in relation to the positioning of the bryozoa, there is a notable difference. The published tree forks with the Annelida and Mollusca developing alongside the bryozoa, not later in the evolutionary cycle as the lab tree showed. The literature this tree came from makes some different classifications of what encompasses the bryozoa phylum, not counting Ectoprocta as bryozoa at all, which we did include. This may explain some of the inconsistencies in the tree generation.
To create new colonies and further the lineage of bryozoa, bryozoan reproduce both sexually and asexually. Most bryozoans are hermaphroditic, possessing both ovaries and testes. Some of the species diffuse the eggs and sperm into the water and allow them to fuse without any other intervention, but most maintain a brood of eggs within the zooecium, or ovicells, and capture swimming sperm with their tentacles. These captured sperms then fertilize the protected eggs. Once fertilized, the egg-sperm fusion develops into free-swimming larvae. As larvae, they contain a locomotor ciliated girdle to help them move on, and once they are settled, they become fastened to the substrate with an adhesive secretion. These new larvae settle, creating new zooids that don't follow a true protosome or deuterosome pattern, and starting a new bryozoan colony. New zooids bud off as the colonies grows, asexually, expanding the colony's size, which is essential for survival. This method of reproduction allows for easy regeneration if a piece of the colony breaks off.
Bryozoa are calcifying animals, meaning that they make their structure out of a minerally diverse composition of calcium carbonate. Compared to other calcifying organisms, bryozoa are unusual in that they have a huge variance in composition and content. This causes them to be an important phylum in terms of research of how ocean acidification affects species' different shell compositions. Bryozoa can also play an important role in the environment, as off the coast of New Zealand they provide important structure in flat, sandy areas and give shelter to animals such as fish and sea stars to live and reproduce.
So you might be wondering, why does any of this matter?
How does it relate to you?
To humans?
Freshwater bryozoans are harmless and do not affect humans other than the occasional clogged water pipe or sewage treatment equipment. They can occasionally be bothersome for fishermen and sailors, as bryozoans love to colonize on the bottoms and propeller of boats, increasing the drag and reducing their speed and maneuverability.
Interestingly, they might actually help humans. A compound called bryostatin-1, produced by the bryozoan BIOL-111, is under serious testing as a tumor-inhibiting drug. Bryostatin-1 has also been shown to have antidepressive and cognitive restorative effects. Certain drugs to treat Alzheimer's, HIV, and cancer can all claim roots in research from Bryozoa.
Keep learning, keep exploring the world. Next time on Planet Earth.